Hey guys, I just want to update you about Front-End Web Development Studio, and I'll give you an overview of the newest features that have come into this really. It's a beautiful shape. It's shaping up to be a really beautiful application that I'm really started to use already with a lot of my work. So essentially what this is, it's a desktop application, so you don't have to hook up to WordPress or any other page builder or anything like that, but you have a full coding environment complete with a structure panel, inspector, easy to add elements, and different panels for your HTML, your CSS, and your JavaScript, and more. And what this provides you is a live preview building environment, completely independent of any platform, and it plugs straight into the files that you are accessing from VS Code. Now that's just absolutely fantastic because you don't even need the internet live and kicking to be able to work on your project. As long as you've got the assets and your branding documents, whatever, you're able to just fire up Front-End Web Development Studio and get to work. Start creating your components, create your web pages, bring all of that branding into code. Now, yes, you can go and just get AI to go and do a lot of these things, and you can vibe code stuff, but that's my exact position on this. Professional AI assisted coding is different to vibe coding. If you're working with designers, if you're working with companies and businesses, and they want you to be pixel perfect in how you represent their brand, then you need to be the person who can convert design visuals into code. Through global styling, through global styles, and more specific component styling, and knitting that together. The great thing is, in the studio, you then hand that off to Claude and VS Code, and you say, hey Claude, I've made this beautiful component. Now can you wrap it up in Next.js syntax? Or now we're going to put this into a Jamstack project. But you've done that from this entire fantastic interface. It's really good. So I'm going to let you in on. I'm going to give you an overview of some of the different features. So the responsivity, Emmet. We've got a full modal for larger coding, but some really fantastic features that I think is really quite powerful for it. There's now a file explorer, so you can handle all of your files and project folders without having to go back to the desktop. Something that I'm really a fan of is that there's a terminal. Okay, so you can handle and create directories and the files that you need straight from terminal, or even better, you can hook your project folder up to GitHub, to your repository. And you can set that up so that you can start saving your work up there in GitHub. But it's even better than that because you don't even have to type that in every time. If you click this button here, it's a push to GitHub button. And so, there isn't a project connected in this one. I will demo that soon. But you simply type in your tag, your note, and click the button, and off it fires to GitHub. So literally click the button, write in your tag or your notes, and off it goes to your repository. The other thing that we have on this operations panel here is the export. Okay, so you can simply click this button and it's going to compile an HTML document. It's going to take the selectors that are used in the document from your styling sheet. It's going to take the tokens and the variables that have been used and put those onto your sheet as well. And what that means is that you can upload that to bricks in WordPress, and it converts it all to bricks elements with bricks styling, and you can take it from there in that ecosystem. So essentially you can use this beautiful desktop coding environment, visual development environment for bricks. And it just translates perfectly. I've got a recent video on that. So between the terminal and the file explorer, and the ability to do all of the work in the studio in and of itself, and then you're able to save it up to GitHub and export it to bricks. Between all of that, there's just no reason to leave the studio while you're taking care of your front-end web development. It's a really beautiful interface. It's working really well. Keeps you close to the code, but there are some awesome other things as well. So first of all, let's have a look. We've got the panels here. When you open up Feud Studio, you will have an HTML and a CSS and a CSS and a JavaScript panels available to you by default. Front-end web development is the holy trinity. Okay, so it's HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But modern front-end web development knows or acknowledges that you need a globals file where you keep your variables, your tokens, your one source of truth. And so that's why that's there by default. It encourages you to work with that correct framework. But that's even more important when you're working in Jamstack or especially Next.js project folders and directories, because I like to make my own components, and the structure for that is that you'd have a folder and the template file and the module CSS, but then you also need to tie in your globals so you can see that working for you. So that's why we have these default panels, but there's one more that's just been added, and that is the assets panel. Because, a project is made up of different assets as well, and so it made sense to ensure you didn't have to jump to the desktop and start messing around in your Finder windows just to find an image or sort out images or fonts or anything like that. So you can now do that straight in Feud Studio. So all you literally have to do is navigate to the folder. So choose the folder that you want to manipulate. Once you've defined that, you can rename or delete assets that are in there, or you can drag more in, just drag and drop. I'll show you that if you've got fonts, for example. Let's say we want to locally host our fonts, which you should. You would simply have to navigate to the fonts directory, and you can just drag them in like that. So now we have locally hosted fonts tucked away in our project, nice and neat. Couldn't get better than that, really. Okay, in case you do need access on the fly to some other documents or files, you can open up another HTML, another CSS, or another JavaScript, and you can squash these up as much as you need to, and then close them out if you need. So close, and close. Okay, so if you don't need it, close it down. Now, working in the panels is really good. It's all in one nice environment, so that makes a lot of sense. But sometimes you just want to get deep into the work, and so we've got this expand button here. So click that. Obviously, it's very pretty, and just like the smaller panels do as well, we've got test class, we've got Emmet in here as well. Okay, so that's working really well, and that updates in the structure panel as also, of course. Something else I'll just show you is that we've got something that I'm calling inserts. Okay, so backslash and hero and enter gives you a nice little pattern that you've got there. So we've got all the essentials that we could start working with. Now, there's an option with some of those because they're just quite generic, just to help you get moving on a project. Backslash hero, and then we could do the hyphen and the C and enter, and it gives us some BEM classes straight in there. They're quite generic, but they do the job, and it gets you started. Really good for the start of a project. So the modal is not immediately updating the files that you're accessing like the small panels do. So you do actually have to click to apply the changes, and of course it's going to check you're not closing down without saving something you want to keep. So Emmet is also in the CSS. A lot of people don't realize that you have Emmet for CSS, but it's actually a really, really useful feature. So for example, let's find something. Well, let's find this one. Yeah, we found it already. If we put a little bit of a margin on here, that doesn't really do much for us to be able to see, but let's there we go. You can see that take effect there. So lots of little shortcuts that you can use with Emmet, which is really good. And we've got inserts here also. So backslash, I think this is one of them. So if you just want to have a peek, at something, identify it, you can put a border around that. We do have some others, so let's look at flex C and enter, and it's just going to put in the display flex and the column there. So there are a bunch of others. You can find them on at FEWDstudio.com in the documentation, and there are also some inserts for JavaScript as well. So if you want to just get a quick jump on some of those, that comes in very handy. So as you might have noticed, as we click around all of the different elements, everything updates if you change it. So I can change a button for a button, which you wouldn't really notice. Let's do something like, well, let's add something then. Add a text element, but you've got to be able to see it. You can see that it updates immediately, and obviously if you change something in here, so add a URL, it's going to add that into the HTML. So it's all like bi-directional. All of these have a modal, which is really fantastic, and of course it's we have a responsive mode, so we can take a peek at the site on different devices. What else do we need to see? Oh yeah, let's have a look at nested. We've got some nested CSS going on in here, which is good. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so we've got responsivity and nested CSS there. So you can keep all of your you can keep everything in the selector as you should be doing. So yeah, I think that's a good bit of a runaround at this point in time. So there's a lot. We've got the terminal, we've got the git push button, we've got the exports to other builders such as Bricks. We've got multiple panels all in one location, but obviously we can get deeper into the work, and it's a more beautiful sort of environment, a bit more like VS Code, but we can get back to the studio, so we can be preview and display led. We've got the assets panel, which is very, very useful for just dealing with all of the different images and fonts that we want to bring into our project, and so we don't have to go back to the desktop all the time. We've got the Explorer here, so we first of all define a directory, and then we're able to add folders or files in the however we're sort of navigating around there. Again, it just means that there's no reason to leave Front-End Web Development Studio once you're in it until you've done your work, and it's not a bad environment to be doing it in. So I hope that's a nice little run around. I'm sure I've forgotten some things that I was excited to add, but there will be more videos on this. There is a Feud Studio. There is a Feud Studio YouTube that I've created. There will be lots of how-tos and feature videos on there, but obviously I'll keep some updates on here as well. So yeah, I find all that really quite exciting. It's been a fun project. It's working beautifully on Mac. I'm really pleased with how it's working on Mac. I need window testers because I'm not buying a Windows machine just to do this. So yeah, if there are any of you that want to get on board with this and test out on Windows, that would be really, really valuable. Just want to say, pop along to FEWDstudio.com and get Feud Studio. There's a 7-day free trial, and you'll lock in a really cheap price per year for this. And the reason why you might want an annual is so that you can keep getting the updates in that time, but really it's just a one-time buy for having it on your desktop, and it's a really fantastic work environment. So this is not playing me up at all. It's a really beautiful environment. I'm making a website with it tomorrow, and I think you should have a go at doing that too. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, please. Give me some comments, give me some feedback, and if you actually fancy jumping on the train with it, please pop along to FEWDstudio.com and lock yourself in for a 7-day trial. Give it a go. Give me your feedback. And yeah, let's crack on with that then. Cool. Hope you all have a good evening. I'm getting myself to bed. It's 20 to 2 in the morning. Not good.